NBC 15 News starts now.
Now at 6, drinking and driving after a pair of deadly crashes. NBC 15 wants to know what's being done to stop the problem.
Runs a red light and slams into oncoming traffic, then a lamp post, then its roof.
New Zealand statistics tells us that for every 100 alcohol or drug-impaired drivers or bike riders killed in crashes, at least 50 passengers and 19 non-alcohol impaired road users will die with them due to their negligence. Back in 2012, driving with alcohol in their system was a contributing factor in 73 fatal crashes, 331 serious injury crashes, and 933 minor injury crashes. This has resulted in 93 deaths, 454 serious injury crashes, and 1,331 minor injuries on New Zealand roads. The police judge that in New Zealand an average of 8,000 breath test of drivers are taken, and 100 people are charged with drink driving from this. A small average, but still relevant. Between 20 and 24 years of age is seen as the highest risk of drunk drivers from New Zealand statistics. Not to say they are the only age group who are the cause of the social problem. Younger drink drivers are said to have a higher risk of crashing. Figures show that a driver aged between 15 and 19 is about 87 times more likely to crash when at the legal drinking limit for an adult, or over 20 years of age. Compared to a driver aged 40 who's reached the legal limit is about 16 times as likely to crash as if they had no alcohol in their system. These statistics have contributed to many deaths on New Zealand roads and are still a social problem in society. With the rising number of deaths and injuries on our roads since 2012, and alcohol is the second biggest contributor to all crashes in New Zealand. The total social cost of these incidents involving alcohol was about $669 million in 2014.
Our business will reduce the amount of drunk drivers on New Zealand roads and ultimately save lives. The current solutions to stop drunk driving are just not effective enough to make a large-scale impact. Our aim is to stop people driving drunk before they become a risk to society by not allowing drunk drivers to start their car. Pretty simple and effective concept. Our product is the Drunk Driving Prevention Device, or DDPD. It would be a part of the justice policy and implemented for people that have been convicted for drunk driving. It will be funded by a cut of the $200 fine that comes from being caught while driving over the limit. How it works? Well, the device hooks into the ignition of the car, and the car requires voice activation rather than a key to start. The driver can talk into the car, start car, and the DDPD will automatically start the car, unless the amount of alcohol in the driver's breath is over the legal limit. If over the legal limit, the car won't start, and the driver will have to find a legal way of getting home. The DDPD has the potential to positively affect society by reducing the drunk driving culture in New Zealand. This will make our community a safer place for everybody and reduce the amount of costs that drunk driving causes to society.
This product meets the needs of a wide variety of stakeholders, including government, law enforcement, prosecutors, judges, probation officers, vendors of the product, and the public. The three key stakeholder groups who highly value our product and experience the greatest impact are government, law enforcement, and the general public. Government sectors have a high stake in the implementation of the drink driving prevention device, as it is the means to significantly reduce the number of incidents due to high-risk offenders. The government has made recent changes to further reduce the drink driving limit. However, it is acknowledged that these changes will have no impact on the group of people our product specifically targets. Similar changes in policy overseas have shown no impact in reducing the number of repeat offenders. Therefore, the implementation of our product into the market will mean that the government will not require further policy changes to specifically target repeat offenders. The government benefits from the offender paying for the cost, as this money they save on judicial and administrative costs also enables them to be more effective with their time, which can be spent in other areas of high need. Law enforcement would also have a large stake in the implementation of this device. In New Zealand, there is an average of 100 arrests a day due to drunken drivers. The reduction of offenders reoffending from using our product saves police resources and time, which also can be used more effectively. The Ministry of Transport's Public Attitude to Road Safety Survey indicates that 60% of New Zealanders favour a lower legal alcohol limit for driving. Therefore, it can be assumed that the public would also generally agree that the reduction of the repeat offenders on the roads through using this device will benefit them through safer roads and saving lives. Additionally, the general public is satisfied as their taxpayer money is not paying for someone else's mistakes. The DDPD creates satisfaction for each of its stakeholders through subsequent effects of our product. All three groups hold similar views as the product is shown to benefit them all in similar ways.
Kant's theory is based upon whether the motivation of consequences have moral worth or not. For the motivation to have moral worth, it cannot be driven with emotion and or desires. For example, if a pair go out drinking and both end up driving home, and one of them makes it home safely and the other ends up killing someone, then Kant's theory will argue that both drivers are equally as bad as each other on the same decision of driving in the first place regardless of the consequences. Kant's theory is also established under universal laws. These laws are made by the idea of a person's doing that is acceptable for everyone else to do as well. The main link with drink driving is if a person decides to drink excessively and then proceed to drive, the potential risk of injuring someone is very high and is not something people want. This means that it is not a universal law because not everybody agrees that it is an action that you would want if you are on the receiving end. So to act under Kant's ethics, people must buy this product for the purpose of duty. This includes buying it for the reason to keep people safe. If someone feels obliged to help this problem decrease, then it is morally justified. Additionally, meaning, if someone buys the DDPD in front of someone to show them that they are a good person, then it is fully betraying this theory. An example of how Kant's theory interacts with law is through the way of rights. One of these rights can be an entitlement right, which is founded from the concept of someone positively or negatively being affected from an action. The rest of society have the obligation to give that person the same thing. Another example of this is that if someone does something wrong, then the rest of society also have the obligation to prevent it from reoccurring.
The three pillars of sustainability are economic, environmental and social. The DDPD affects the social pillars as we are saving lives of New Zealanders by preventing crashes caused by drunk drivers. We aim to improve the quality of life in society by reducing harm. We won't be discriminating against anybody as it is the same law for everybody. The DDPD affects social sustainability as it is a health and safety product. Drunk driving is a sensitive subject to many people because so many lives have been affected by this crime. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration reports that alcohol-related motor vehicle crashes kill someone every 31 minutes and injure someone every 2 minutes. Alcohol abusers are medically at risk for liver damage, brain damage and cancer, as well as causing fetal alcohol syndrome in pregnant women. Some of the social effects are death, injury, traffic violation, fines and jail. The loss of human life as surviving family members and friends is a pain that never really goes away. Some families are shattered by the death of their loved ones. Others try to bury their grief and stumble through life that is half dead themselves, refusing to allow themselves to ever feel joy again. Another point to consider is the after effects or consequences of drunk driving to the drunk driver. He or she has to live with the knowledge that their actions resulted in serious injury or death of others. There may be a rupture in the family dynamic as the individual has to serve jail time, may lose a job, spouse, or custody of children in addition. The convicted drunk driver faces fines, court costs, treatment costs, and increased insurance if he or she doesn't lose their driving license temporarily or permanently.